I'd like to welcome everybody to the August meeting of the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation Commission. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order, and Mr. Harold Yoakley is going to do the prayer and pledge for us.
Let's pray. Father, here we just thank you for today, God. We just ask for your continued guidance and blessing, Father. We thank you for allowing us the opportunity to live in such a great nation, a great city, and also to be able to work, Father, for the community good, Lord. And we give you all the praise and thanks for all that you continue to allow us to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Harold. Everybody should have received their packets earlier in the week. Contained in that packet was our minutes from the previous meeting, which was in May. This time we'll entertain a motion for approval of those minutes, or if there's any changes or corrections, please bring those forward.
I move we approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, let's move now to new business. Item 1 under new business is a request to accept a donation from the Friends of the Greenway. I believe Angela Jackson's here to tell us all about that.
Hi.
Hello, Angela.
Well, with all of the new Greenway expansion, we have been very focused on that, and I believe it's on the agenda for later on. Laney's going to give us an update. But one of the things that we wanted to keep in mind and remember is the existing Greenway, which was first opened in 1996 with the Lytle Creek portion added in 97. At that time, the Friends of the Greenway, which we refer to as FOG, purchased the materials for kiosks, little information message centers at some of the larger trailheads. And it's come to our attention as of late that they have been in a state of disrepair. So the Friends of the Greenway Board of Directors has volunteered to purchase new kiosks for us and make that donation. So I'm here today to request that we accept that donation. The kiosks that we're looking to purchase, you have pictures of them in your packet. They are, there's 3 each. They'll go at the Thompson Lane Trailhead, the General Bragg Trailhead, and the Cannonsburg Trailhead. Our city maintenance staff will be responsible for removing the old kiosk and installing the new ones. And they cost a total of $728 each, so we're looking at a total donation valued at $2,184, and our staff would be responsible for the installation and also providing the posts that they would go on. And Randall Branch, who is a board member for the Friends of the Greenway, is here to tell you a little bit more about that group as well.
Hi, I'm Randall Branch. I've been with the Friends of the Greenway for about 3 years now, and we really appreciate the privilege of helping to get funds to help the users of the Greenway, the walkers, the people on bicycles. We've got some good signs on the history, and one of the things we were interested in with this one is also to point out some of the biodiversity on the Greenway. We've given away kayaks, and we've got a bunch more stuff in the pipeline that I think the public would be interested in having. And we invite the public and the city to let us know of the needs, and we're there to help fill in some of the holes in the budget, things that weren't planned, things that need to be done. Any questions about the Friends of the Greenway?
Do I have any questions?
How many members do y'all have, Randall?
Total number of members, 75 families. There's about 12 of us on the board.
Like how you say families. That's pretty neat.
May I ask a question?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Curious how you all raise your funds.
Sometimes they just appear. individual donations. We have events, and people can donate and become members at different events. The next big event will be the Arts Festival, so we'll be shaking people down for money when that comes along. We have sponsors for some of these events, and funds come in that way.
Randall, if somebody's interested in joining your group, how do they do that? Do they contact the Parks and Rec Department? Do you guys have a website they go to? What? Angela Jackson?
Contact Angela. They can go to the Parks or City website and email Angela, or the phone number's there as well.
Great. Okay, well, we appreciate everything you guys do for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to mention while Mr. Branch is here, we certainly appreciate the Friends of the Greenway. They've been a great help to us. Like you said, they've purchased kayaks for us. They've been there for different events, a Barkaroo, which is a big event for us, the Arts on the Greenway, the Boat Day, several other things that they're involved with. And they want to come along and, just like these kiosks, they want to come along and do some things that will enhance our Greenway system and make it more pleasurable for the users. And of course, most of those folks are using the Greenway. So we certainly appreciate their group and the families that participate. And there's a lot of activities planned. You can go to our website and you can see the things that's planned on the Greenway, or you can go to the Rec Connection and you can find those. But they're an integral part of what happens in terms of all the things that happens on the Greenway. So we certainly appreciate that.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Angela regarding this donation? We need a motion for acceptance of this request.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Angela, Randall, thank you guys. Second item under new business is a consideration for a fee change for diagnostic services. And we'll go ahead and cover two of these at the same time. Allison Davidson's here with us today. She's going to cover this and item 3, which is a request for approval for an arthritis exercise program and fee. Allison, welcome.
Thank you, Hi. Well, the first one, for about, I guess as long as I've known, for about 9 or 10 years, we've been working with a local laboratory, Quest Diagnostics, and they allow us to sell a blood lipid panel test, and we give the information to the patrons, and then they go and take the test, and then we make sure that the results are sent to us, and we give them back to the patrons. They recently, a couple of months ago, sent a letter saying that due to the rising cost of everything, they're going to have to increase their fee. And so just the trickle down, because they're increasing, just to help us cover our admin cost of doing that and carrying that program on, I'm asking that we increase our fee from $20 up to $25.
Okay. Go ahead and cover the other one. I want to
Okay.
go both.
All right. I was given a great opportunity a couple of months ago to go to the Arthritis Foundation. It's with a CDC grant through the Arthritis Foundation to be trained to teach their exercise and arthritis program. And they've had it before. It's a very long program. They've had it around for years. They just revised it last year. So it's a brand new program. It's an excellent program. It's set up for people with arthritis. It's an 8-week program, 2 days a week. And you go and we teach you exercises that are beneficial for people with arthritis and not detrimental, because there's so many things that if you have arthritis, a lot of movements and stuff can kind of hurt and exacerbate the problem. So what this does is it shows you how to do exercises, kind of helps you get on an exercise program that's beneficial for people with arthritis. And so I'd like to put that program on. I've got all the booklets and everything, so I would like to do that program for the community sometime, hopefully, the first of the year. It's a great program. We've done the old one before when I was with the Senior Center, and so now I kind of like to pick up the new one. It's new and improved. It's a really great program. I'm really excited about it, and I think it's a great opportunity to be able to offer it to the community.
Thanks. Anybody have any questions of Allison on the fee change or the program?
On the arthritis program, how many participants could you have?
I personally could probably take, I would say, about 20. It's really just, we have the equipment to do it, and part of that fee, there's a supply fee where we would supply them with a workbook and an exercise band, so half of their equipment they get to take home with them. The rest of the equipment that we may be using, we would have it at the facility at SportsCom, and so I think I could easily take about 20 people, possibly more after the first go-round, just depending on how the first round goes.
Any other questions?
Does it offer both at SportsCom and Patterson Center, or where is your location?
Right now, it would be at SportsCom. If it became very popular and we saw the need to take it over to Patterson, I don't see any problem with me going. Right now, I'm the only one trained to do that within the city, but I don't see that it would be a problem if Chad can fit me in and give me a room. I don't see a problem where I wouldn't be able to take it to Patterson if that need did arise.
Good questions. Any others?
I was curious, how many people do we have participating in the Quest diagnostic test?
It's one of those things that they just kind of come in and do it. We average probably about 4 people a month that come in. It really just depends. Sometimes we have a huge influx with, I guess, people suddenly realize they need to have their lipids tested, and it's a really good price. And actually, the more that people find out about it, we have a lot of people who return to do it, because for $20 originally, even $25, is still a very good price, and you get your HDLs, your LDLs, your triglycerides. It's a very good price, so we probably have about 4 on average a month.
Any other questions?
One of the things that we offer at SportsCom and at Patterson is a personal assessment. Someone that's interested in coming in and starting an exercise regimen, they can make an appointment with Allison or with Chad Hill at Patterson, and they tell them about this service. So in telling them that they probably need to go see their doctor is one of the things that they ask them, to make sure that they're physically in good enough health. They offer this service, and so they can take that information to their doctor. Generally speaking, a service like that runs around $100, so that's a good savings for them. It's a way that they can get into the exercise program. They can visit their physician. They can take the information that the physician would want to be seeing, and it just perpetuates that whole motion of trying to get people into the exercise programs.
Any other questions or comments? If there are none, we need a motion for acceptance of the fee change and the approval for the program and its fee.
I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Being none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Allison, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4 is a consideration of a preschool gymnastics program and associated fee, and Becky Johnson's here to tell us all about it.
Hello. The preschool program, it's one that I implemented this past January from Murfreesboro Parks and Rec. It's for preschoolers ages 3 to 5. They learn the basics of tumbling, balance, agility, with safety emphasized as well. We offer this program Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Thursdays from 9 to 9:45 a.m. at Patterson Park. And how it's set up, it's an 8-week session, and each week we learn a new skill. So I've had registration where I take 10 to 12 children for the class, and they're supposed to come each week to build. And I have been charging $3 a session for that. A problem that I've encountered with doing it this way is that preschoolers are inconsistent, so the attendance is inconsistent. So they might be here for week 2, and then they'll come back for week 4. And then I also have a long wait list. And it's frustrating because I might not have a full class on a given day, and there's people who would like to come, but they can't because we're week 4 of the program. So I'd like to charge a flat fee of $30 up front. So then that way the participants have said, okay, well, we're committing to the 8-week session. And then financially that helps cover our costs. And also this year I've been able to purchase some additional gymnastics equipment. So that's why I wanted to charge a flat rate to ensure that our costs were covered as far as the instructor and the supplies, and to also encourage parents that they've made that 8-week commitment so that they will try to make it on a more regular basis. We realize that preschoolers sometimes aren't in the best of moods on a Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., but this way the parents will feel that they've already committed to it and keep the kids going so that they'll progress the way the program's set up.
Okay. Any questions for Becky regarding the program? If there are no questions, we need a motion for acceptance of the program and the associated fee.
I so move.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Becky, thank you.
Thank you.
Great program. Item 5 is a report on the Hershey's track and field program from Mr. Thomas Laird. Thomas?
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Hershey's Track and Field has been in existence for 32 years now. The program introduces children to physical fitness through basic track and field skills like running, jumping, and throwing. Murfreesboro has been a part of that program for over 20 years. And for the past 6 years, we've hosted the local, district, and state meets here in Murfreesboro at Riverdale High School. This year, while we gave out many state championships, only 6 went on to the North American Final in Hershey, Pennsylvania last week. Tennessee finished well with a 7th place, 6th place, 2 4th places, a 3rd place, and a 1st place finish. Joy Frierson of Murfreesboro finished 1st place in a 13-14-year-old girls 100 meter. Joy finished with a time of 12.71. That was almost 2/10 of a second off her closest competitor and a half a second off the world record. While this is a huge accomplishment, there's a lot more behind the story. Joy's been a part of our Murfreesboro track and field program for 5 years. And of those 5 years, she's qualified for the North American Finals 4 times. The first time was she finished in 3rd place. Went back the next year and finished in 2nd. The following year was another disappointing 2nd place. Last year, she took the year off, went on vacation with her family, and came back this year and won it in the oldest age group of them all. Over 400,000 kids participated across the nation, with over 800 participating here in Murfreesboro. 186 came here for the state finals. Joy's accomplishments go beyond just a winning of a track meet. She's worked hard with the help of Coach Field there at Riverdale, and outside of the athletic arena, she's a straight-A student at McFadden, and the character and sportsmanship and dignity that she expresses was beyond anything you would expect of a 13 or 14-year-old. Oftentimes, this being the oldest age group in Hershey's track and field, winners of the 100 meter are often considered the fastest kids in America. And that's a credit, I think, to everyone here that she was a part of our program, and that someone who has started through our program has become the fastest kid in America. And we know she'll go on and do great things. And hopefully our program, it seems like just yesterday we were here asking permission for you guys to approve fees and us implementing this program. And now we've had a participant out of it make these kind of accomplishments. So we're hoping that we'll continue with the program and that we'll have more successes. We plan on acknowledging Joy's accomplishment on a larger scale somewhere here in the next few weeks. But we wanted to bring it to you first and let you know that the programs and the facilities that you provide for us or allow us to have do affect the community, and they do allow our citizens and people in our community to do great things. And this is a huge accomplishment, and I think it's a credit to everyone that makes that opportunity available to her. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Thomas? Thanks for the update. That's exciting. Very well.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add that Thomas is the state director of Hershey's Track and Field. A lot of people don't know that, but he represents the Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association as the chair of Hershey's Track and Field statewide. So he does a lot of work on this. He coordinates with all the other cities. He sets the events up. You've heard that we host the local, regional, and state meet here. And the other thing that we were able to do with Thomas and another staff member is we sent him to Hershey, Pennsylvania, to the national meet to escort the folks that were going from Tennessee, especially the person from Murfreesboro. So I just want to acknowledge that Thomas has been a huge part of this success.
Great work, Thomas. Last item under new business is Lanny's going to give us an update on the Greenway Extension 2.
Yeah, just I've had a lot of questions from the public, and just for public information and for the commission, to let you know that the Stones River Extension 2, which runs from Old Fort Park to Highway 99, is substantially complete. We should be getting a letter within the next day or two from the architect that will release the trail, so we can go ahead and open that up and have that for the general public usage. We do have some issues at the trailhead with some of the construction of the restroom, and we're trying to resolve that. I talked to the architect this morning. We think we've got a solution. We think we can get that resolved within the next couple of weeks. So that trailhead should be open within probably the next couple of weeks. But one other thing I wanted to talk about is right now, tentatively, we've got a grand opening scheduled, a grand opening celebration for that trail and for that trailhead on August the 28th, which is a Friday. I think, Angela, is that right? We're going to try to have that at from 6 to 8. She's still here? She's saying yes. We'll have a lot of entertainment, music, of course, the normal things. We'd like to get folks to the podium and say a few words. We're trying to coordinate that with Congressman Gordon's office, and hopefully he will be there. But I think it's going to be a great time. We're anticipating usually about 250 folks showing up for this event. So we've already started having, as much as we try to put the barriers up and tell people that the trail's not open yet, trail usage has gotten pretty heavy, and contractors have been trying to keep them off and those kind of things. So we're excited to go ahead and get that leg of the trail open. It's an absolutely gorgeous stretch of trail. I think once you experience this section of trail, you'll probably say this is probably one of the prettiest portions of our Greenway. But anyway, mark that date on your calendar, October 28th, at 6 to 8 for that grand opening.
August.
October.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. August the 28th. August the 28th. August the 28th. From 6 to 8.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
How many miles will the completed Greenway be?
That portion of the Greenway is basically about 3.2 miles. When you add in the additional trail that we have opened at the Gateway, that's an additional 4.7 miles together. Our original trail was 4.5, so we have now doubled the amount of Greenway that we originally had.
But the entire trail,
The entire trail itself would be 9.2 miles.
I wouldn't expect you to necessarily know that, but I'm curious if anybody did. So 9.2.
9.2. And by the time we get to Barfield Crescent, we'll be right at 12 miles. What we have got anticipated in the future is probably doubling that, where our Greenway system will end up somewhere around 24 miles of Greenway.
Lanny, where is the grand opening going to be held?
The grand opening will be at the Cason trailhead. That's at the end of Cason Trail. If you're not familiar with Cason Trail, you you turn off of Cason Lane at the school. That's Cason Trail right there at the traffic light. And if you're coming from Highway 99, you would turn right. If you're coming from Old Fort Parkway and you get down Cason Lane to that traffic light, you would turn left. And it will lead you straight into that trailhead.
Okay. All right.
A couple of other things, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Sure.
Our October meeting, maybe that was my Freudian slip a while ago, but our October meeting, it falls in the fall break for the schools. Fall break for the schools is October the 5th through the 9th. Is that right, Ms. Mathis?
Ask me that again.
Fall break for the schools, October the 5th through the 9th.
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
think it
different
is.
for the alternative, and we have one that starts on the,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, but it falls within that. Our meeting is scheduled for the 7th. I just wanted to make sure that people could put that on their calendars, or if you have a problem, maybe we need to talk about that at the next meeting, our September meeting, and then whether we'll need to reschedule that one or just wait for our November meeting. But I know that sometimes vacations and those kind of things during school breaks or become problems. So I just wanted to mention that to the commission. One other thing I want to mention was last night was National Night Out, National Night Against Crime. There were 7 sites in the city. Parks and Recreation had 4 of those sites. We did go to all the sites. The mayor was involved. Mr. McFarland made several of the sites. Mr. Doug Young was in the group. Mr. Miller, Eddie Miller, who is Eddie's dad, who's a great gentleman, was in that group. But we went to those different sites, and there was a lot of people out meeting their neighbors last night, having good time, sharing food, fellowship. Good music was going on. So I would say that there was probably somewhere several thousand, 2,000 or 3,000 people out last night enjoying National Night Out. So it was a great event, and for all the park staff that was involved in that, a big thank you to them, kudos to them, and for the folks that organized the other sites. Oakland's Association did a great job in organizing the Oakland's site. Miss Nora Waters, who does the site over at Rogers Park, she does a great job as well. And then for all the other folks that were involved, I think it was a big success. One other thing that, since we haven't met, I don't know how many of you attended our 4th of July celebration. We did have a little rain. We had to cancel the symphony, but the fireworks went off, and we've gotten good comments back from that. I think everybody was pleased with the venue. It was a much bigger venue. We were able to spread out, and of course we had Sports Mountain Pool open at 10 o'clock, so we started early, and the rain came about 7:45 till 8, something like that. And we had to cancel the symphony because they can't get the instruments out in that. But that's really the only activity that we canceled, but people seemed to have a great time. We learned a lot by being our first time at McKnight Park. We already went back as a staff and said how we can make that better. But we plan to have that celebration again there at that same venue. But for the Airport Authority, Chad, who is the director out there, he worked with us really closely. The police department, Chief Kritzman, all of his staff, everybody involved. It was, I thought, a good event.
Do you have any questions or comments or any other business? Being none, we stand adjourned.